Hey nerd, how are you? Welcome to the Nerd Sensei channel. The captains of the Gotei 13 from Bleach reign supreme in the Soul Society for being the most powerful Shinigamis of all. Get ready, because in this video, we'll analyze the power levels of all 13 Bleach captains, ranking them from the least to the most powerful. Now before we start our video, let's establish some premises. We'll only talk about the Bleach captains that were shown at the beginning of the series and who actually held the position of captain. So we won't talk about Unohana as captain because he had already left the position at the beginning of the anime. We'll also take into consideration the strength acquired by the character while serving as captain. In other words, we won't consider Aizen with his Hogyoku, but we will consider, for example, Zaraki Kenpachi's bankai because he acquired this power when he was still a captain of the Gotei 13. One last warning is that this video will contain manga spoilers. So if you're ready, let's go to the video. In the 13th position, we have Kurotsuchi Mayuri. Mayuri doesn't have brute strength or above average speed and relies heavily on his pre-battle preparation. Thanks to his great intelligence, he can create strategies that can counter his opponent's abilities. However, he not only has one of the worst overall attributes among all captains, but also was defeated by Uryu Ishida when Ishida was still discovering his Quincy powers. Now, in the 12th position, we have Tausen Kaname, captain of the 9th division. Tausen can manipulate his opponent's senses, and his bankai has the power to steal all senses from the opponent except touch within a limited space. However, he holds this position because we're analyzing his version without hollow powers. And it's undeniable that he took an unprecedented beating from Zaraki Kenpachi, who wasn't even fighting seriously. Tausen also didn't have significant achievements within the series, so he takes our 12th position. Moving on to the 11th position, we have Soi Fong from the 2nd division. She has great speed, combat abilities, and stealth, and her Shikai greatly aids her in surprise attacks as if she strikes the same spot of the opponent twice. They are instantly defeated. However, she holds this position precisely because of her bankai, which is a kind of very powerful missile that can only be used once every 3 days. The problem is that while this missile is indeed powerful, it was countered by Komamura's bankai, which can be used without limit during a certain period. Speaking of him, our 10th position goes to Sajin Komamura. He has one of the greatest brute strengths among all captains, and his bankai allows him to create a gigantic avatar that can deliver very powerful physical blows. Komamura holds this position slightly ahead of Soi Fong. This is because the two fought with almost a technical draw for a few seconds, with Komamura taking a little longer to fall unconscious than Soi Fong. However, he doesn't have the limitation on bankai usage that Soi Fong has, which puts him ahead in terms of power level. Continuing with our 9th position, we have Juichiro Ukitake. Ukitake possesses one of the most useful defensive abilities, being able to absorb and reflect attacks with his Zanpakutos. Unfortunately, his bankai was never revealed, but he holds this position because he faced Captain Yamamoto alongside Shunsui, and his strength was acknowledged by the captain of the 1st division. Moving on to the 8th position, we have Toshiro Hitsugaya. Despite his very young age, he is indeed very powerful. With the ability to control water and ice, when he uses his bankai, he gains an ice armor in the form of a dragon. And after extensive training, he can achieve the adult form after some time of bankai usage. This adult form allows him to freeze anything near him, neutralizing the abilities or functions of what is frozen. In the 7th position, we have Byakuya Kuchiki, who possesses one of the greatest speeds among all captains. His incredible speed can be used both to evade attacks and for his own offensive capabilities, as his bankai can create several small blades resembling cherry blossoms that attack his opponent at a frightening speed. Despite his great power, it's a fact that he was defeated by an Ichigo who had just discovered his bankai. Therefore, he occupies our 7th position. Now, in our 6th position, we have Gin Ichimaru. Gin is highly intelligent and possesses a very useful combat ability, being able to extend and retract his Zanpakuto at a speed 500 times the speed of sound with his bankai. He was able to fight evenly with Ichigo, and there was no definitive result of the fight. Considering that Byakuya lost to an Ichigo with even less training than the one Gin faced, Gin ends up occupying the 6th position on our list. Moving on to our 5th position, we have Retsu Unohana. She is simply a force to be reckoned with. Being the 2nd oldest captain of the Gotei 13 and possessing great battle experience, she is also very skilled in healing abilities. She holds this position because she was once greatly feared for her strength and highly respected and even feared by other captains. Especially, Zaraki Kenpachi had great respect for Unohana, who trained Zaraki so that he could awaken his abilities. Speaking of Zaraki Kenpachi, he occupies our 4th position. But now you might be wondering, what? But how can Kenpachi be too overpowered to be in the 4th position? Relax, I'll explain everything to you, little nerd. Logically, Kenpachi is indeed extremely powerful. I believe he has the highest base attributes among all the other captains, having been able to defeat Tosen when Tosen was being helped by Komamura, and he did it without apparent difficulty. Not only that, but he was even able to cut a meteor with his Shikai, man. Seriously, I truly believe that in terms of pure strength, speed, and Ryatsu level, he is an unprecedented monster. However, he occupies this position due to his bankai. Kenpachi had Unohana's help to awaken his powers in the 1,000-Year Blood War saga. And he did awaken his Shikai, which had such terrifying power that it could even cut a meteor, as I mentioned earlier. But when using his bankai, his power was taken to such an extreme level that it was even difficult for him to control. And it is precisely because of this point that Kenpachi does not rise in our list. It was shown in his battle against Gerard Valkyrie that he did have the power to put incredible pressure on his opponent. But he couldn't handle his own power for long and had his arm destroyed when trying to deliver another blow. Therefore, since it wasn't shown that Kenpachi could control his power, he occupies the 4th position on our list. Now we've reached the top 3, and in our 3rd position, we have Shunsui Kyoraku. He holds this prominent position not only because at the end of Bleach, he was elected as the commander of the 1st Division, a position previously held by Yamamoto, but also because of the unprecedented power of his bankai. Seriously, Shunsui's bankai is practically hacked and almost impossible to defeat. Let's analyze it! Shunsui's bankai is the Suicide Theater, which has 4 distinct abilities. The first one can harm the opponent based on the damage they've already suffered during or before the battle. The second one can rewrite the opponent's history. The third one causes Shunsui and his opponent to fall into a water abyss until the Ryatsu of one of them drains away. Lastly, the most overpowering ability allows him to almost instantly eliminate the opponent. His bankai is so powerful that he only allows himself to activate it when he has no comrades nearby. Given its incredible number of unparalleled abilities, he becomes virtually invincible when activating his bankai. This, combined with the fact that he became the commander of the 1st Division of the Gotei 13, earns him the 3rd position on our list. In 2nd place, we have him, Sousuke Aizen. He's practically the Madara of Bleach, having been responsible for much of the events of the Arrancar saga. His Zanpakuto allows him to create almost perfect illusions that can deceive many people at once. He is also one of the strongest Hadou users in the entire series, in addition to possessing physical attributes and Ryatsu much greater than even the standards of a captain. He holds this position because even without his Hogyoku, he was still able to face several captains like Hitsugaya, Shunsui, Soi Fong, and Shinji Hirako at the same time. Seriously, he is totally out of this world, and not only is he overwhelmingly powerful, but he also never had his bankai revealed. In other words, we've never seen the full extent of Aizen's powers as a Shinigami man. If his strength was already such that he could defeat several captains together with just his Shikai, imagine what he could do with his bankai. Given this immense overpoweredness, Aizen definitely takes our 2nd place. Now for the top spot, we have Genryusai Yamamoto. Seriously, this guy is simply a legend, almost like a Chuck Norris of the Shinigamis. Let's analyze this a bit better. Yamamoto has the power to control flames, and with his bankai, this is taken to the highest possible limits within the Bleach universe. His bankai also has 4 abilities, the first of which causes his sword to incinerate anything it touches. That's right, he can incinerate anything with the simple touch of his sword. His 2nd ability allows him to engulf his body in flames of 15 million degrees, the temperature of the sun. Seriously, isn't that out of this world? Thought that was not enough? He can still summon those he's defeated on the battlefield, a kind of Edo Tensei. Lastly, his 4th ability allows him to use an attack that incinerates everything around him. Simply everything is destroyed. Seriously, it's impossible not to give the 1st place to Yamamoto. Just to give you an idea, even Aizen had admitted that if he were to fight Yamamoto, not even he would stand a chance against the captain of the 1st Division. Therefore, he proudly takes our top spot. And that's basically it, nerd. Did you enjoy the video? Remember, this is just my opinion, and if you have a different opinion, feel free to leave it in the comments. Thank you very much for watching until the end, and see you in the next video.